Today on the screencast menu, we have number, we have sequences, finding the nth term. This is going to be sequences number 2. Very important that you have watched the first one on sequences because it was the building block to be good at this. So if you have not watched that one, please do not move straight to this one. It is possible that you could still do well, but it's far less likely, so make sure you watch that first one first. We're just going to go over some old ground here. What is a number sequence and what is the nth term? Because we are going to work on the nth term today. Sounds difficult, I promise you it's not. A number sequence is a list of numbers that are linked by a rule. If you work out the rule, you can work out the next numbers in the sequence. In this example, the difference between each number is 6, so the rule in the sequence is to add 6 each time. So let's just give you that example. We've got our 6, we've got our 12, we've got our 18. We're adding 6 each time. The next number, because we're going to add 6 each time, is going to be 24, and then it's going to be 30, so forth and so on. That is the BBC Bite Size example. But what is the nth term? The nth term is a formula with n in it. And this is really important, this n. I can't tell you how important it is. It's really important, which enables you to find any term of the sequence without having to go up one term to the next. So we use this often when we have to find out like the 15th or the 20th or the 52nd term. It's a much faster way. And we also use it in lots of other ways that we'll get to as you go through the course. This is from school.co.uk. I thought it was really good, actually. This is my example for you. So on this example, you can see that we're going up by 3 each time, each and every time. Remember, these are linear sequences. We do have more difficult sequences that we don't move up so smoothly, but for all of these, we're looking at linear. We're adding 3 each time. So the next term would be 24. My starting point for my formula, my nth term formula with this n is, okay, it's gone up by 3 each time. So I just say it's 3n. Now my answer might be 3n, but that's my starting point. I might have to add something to that or take something away from that, but that's my starting point. On this occasion, that would actually be my nth term. And we're going to go over why. Here goes the other part that's really important, and this is what is a term, because some people don't understand this. So we've got our a sequence of numbers. What is a term? Well, how they're written and the order they're written in is the term number. So 3 would be our first term in our sequence, wouldn't it? 15 would be the fifth term in the sequence, and 21 would be the 7th term. So we may be asked to find out the next term, which would be term 8, or we could be asked to find out the 15th or the 21st term or whatever. Okay. Hopefully this is all still making sense. We are going to go over this one together. In fact, I'll go over the first 2 with you together, and even maybe I'll give you a hand on the third one. But then the next page is all yours. Here we go. Let's have a think. Find the next term in the sequence and then the nth term. So the next term in the sequence, we can see that we're going up, by 4 each time. So the next term in the sequence will be 21. We did this yesterday, exactly the same numbers, didn't we? So my starting point for my formula is just to write 4n. That's the starting point. It's not the end point for this one, unfortunately. All I want you to do then is, underneath the sequence of numbers, write down the multiples of 4, or the 4 times table. So we've got 4, 8, 12, and 16. And let's have a look at my new sequence of numbers and the ones that we need to get it to. What is the difference between 4 to 5? What is the difference between 8 and 9? What's the difference between 12 and 13 and 16 and 17? Well, we have to add 1 each time to make it correct, don't we? My sequence of numbers is slightly wrong because I've got to add 1 to it each time. So if I do that to my formula, I've made it correct. We'll go over all this in the next screencast, but that is your formula. That is the nth term. I promise you that's how easy it is. Let's look at the next one. The term-to-term rule here is going to be plus 6. So I'm adding 6 each time. So my next term would be 36. I'm sure you know that. You learned that from the last time you watched one of these screencasts. So my starting point is, okay, 6n. Term-to-term rule was 6, so it's 6n. I write my 6 times table underneath, or multiples of 6. And I'm saying to myself, okay, look at the pattern. Look at the difference each time. I've got 6, I need to get to 12. I've got 12, I need to get to 18. I've got 18, I need to get to 24. What do I have to do? I've got to add 6 each time. So that's all I do. And I've got my nth term formula. Last but not least, here we go. I'm going to do this one for you as well. Do these along with me. Make sure you're doing these along with me. Our term-to-term rule is we're going to add 2 each time, aren't we? We're going to add 2 from 1 to 3, 3 to 5. So what's our next term going to be? It's going to be 9. So my starting point on my formula is 2n. Write down the 2 times table. 2, 4, 6, and 8. Now look, what's the difference between 2 and 1? What's the difference between 2 and 1? Now, some would say I've got to add 1. No. I've got to subtract 1 each time, don't I? I've got 2, I need to make it 1. Got to subtract away 1. I've got 4, I've got to make it 3. I'm going to subtract away 1. I've got 6, I'm going to need to make it 5. I've got to subtract 1. So now we're talking about subtracting 1, but it's still not difficult. You can still do that. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let's see how good you are next. Here is 3 questions for you. Remember, just apply the rule, apply what you've learnt, pause the video, give all of these a go, come back and see if you've got them correct. So everyone, hopefully you've done those now. Hopefully you've got them all correct. Remember, if you don't have them correct, don't worry. It's a first step in learning. Just go back and watch a bit more of the video, understand how it goes. But let's look at the term-to-term rule for this first one here. What's the difference between each one? We're adding 3 each time. So the next number would be 17, wouldn't it? So we start with 3 in, we write our 3 times table underneath, and we look and say, what do I have to do each time? I've got to add 2, so I just write plus 2. The next one, we're adding 2 to it, aren't we? Look, 2 to get, 6, crikey, 6 each time. So I get to 27. I'm sure you've done that really, really well. Our starting point is 6n. Let's write down the 6 times table underneath. How do we get, though, from 6 to 3, 12 to 9, 18 to 15? What do I have to do? I have to subtract away 3 each time, don't I? So that's all I do on my formula. Minus 3. And last but not least, what am I doing? I'm minusing 3 each time, aren't I? So my next term is going to be minus 2. So my starting point would be minus 3n. And then I write down underneath, and this was a much tougher, wasn't it? I'm sure some of you did find it difficult. Minus 3, take away another 3, which is minus 6. Take away another 3, which is minus 9. Take away another 3, which is minus 12. What do I have to do each time to get from minus 3 to 10? Well, I've got to actually add 13 each time. I've got to add 13 each time to get it from minus 3 to 10. I've got to add 13 to get it from minus 6 to 7. I've got to add 13 to get it from minus 9 to 4. So there I write down add 13. Now, I know that was quite difficult, and that is pretty much the Mount Everest that we're going to have to do on the style of questions. So hopefully you have got that. It is time for the quiz. I am sure you're going to do well. I believe I've made them all positives for you. Give them all a go. Come back and see how you've done. Remember, just apply the knowledge you've learned and you will be fine. So now it's time for the answers. And we've got here the next term being 180 because I was adding 20 each time. But I write my new sequence of numbers. And what did I have to do to 20? To get it to 100, I had to add 80. 40 to 120, I had to add 80. 60 to 140, add 80. And 80 to 160, add 80. So you can see I've got 20 in plus 80. Next term was 17 because I was going up in 4s each time. So I start with 4 in. How do I get from 4 to 1? I minus 3. So forth and so on. So we've got here, we're going up in 30s. So I've got 140. So it's 30 in. But what am I doing from 30 to 20? I'm taking away 10 each time. and you can see that happening each time there. So fingers crossed you've done really well. I'm sure you absolutely have. We have got at least one more to do, and the next one's on using the nth term to find out some really crazy numbers in a sequence. But hopefully you've done really, really well. I'm sure you have. Remember, you've got a chance to either write your own revision card, and I'd highly recommend you writing your own revision card just using the quiz questions that I've just done, or if you contact me on the link below in the description, then I can send you some electronic versions of all the cards. Anyone, until next time, it's always a pleasure helping you with your maths. I am absolutely positive that you are positive about how you've done today.